Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is February 19th, 2015. It is 2:30 a.m. in the morning. We are welcoming you to Phoenix Trading Strategies trading room. Tonight we have what we call the European session, where we basically look for specific trade setups. And this is how we help a lot of our students learn how to use the software correctly. So welcome to Phoenix Trading Strategies, where we take technology to the highest level. At least we believe we do. And in doing so, we take your trading to the next level as well. So before we begin, let's go to the disclaimer, and then we'll go to the charts. Disclaimer: future stocks and spot currency trading have large potential rewards but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the future stocks and forex markets. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell futures, no stocks or forex. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed on this website. Past performance of indicators or methodology are not necessarily indicative of future results. Being that said and done, for those of you that are new, I invite you to go over the website. The home page is always good. If you have not signed up for our U.S. session, you can do so here in the free training room. It is Mondays through Friday, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 10:30, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you want a little bit more information on some of our trades, you can go to our blog, hit the blog. The blog will take you to some videos that we've done. You can go to latest trades to see the latest trades that we've recorded, trading videos. So we have quite an extensive library of videos that you can now go to and check out. Just click on it and boom, you're good to go. If you have any questions on the indicators, go to the indicator page. Always a good read. You can actually click on the indicator itself, and then it'll give you a brief description of what the indicator does. Very user-friendly platform, very user-friendly website. Being that said and done, let's take a look at the calendar real quickly. As you know, today is Thursday morning, and there hardly is no news except for the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts, which is taking place at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, which is 4:30 a.m. my time. However, there's quite a bit taking place right now, and on the higher time frames, it looks like they're going to play it out very aggressively. So it is to your advantage, it is to my advantage, and let's take a look at that real quickly. So let's go to the charts. Now what I have here is I have what I consider to be a triple-decker home run of a trade. And the reason I say that is because it has every element that you can possibly imagine. Cannot be contested mathematically. The decision's already been made, and it's where they're throwing the kitchen sink at everyone, including you, except that we're going to take that kitchen sink and throw it right back at them. It's a beautiful thing when we're able to analyze this and decipher their intent. Now, I'm going to break it down for you in quite a few levels. Well, first, we're going to go to the 240, because I think it's important to take a look at the 240 minute, since that's where the journey began. But we are interested at this point in the Euro USD going short, and I'll explain why. Give NinjaTrader a second for it to load. Okay, so earlier this morning they did something very mischievous. I actually announced they were going to go long the 240 minute, and you can see how they set it up. Unfortunately, I didn't see this. I had problems with NinjaTrader at the time, but that's okay. Here, they have basically a trend stops here, so this is a very big range, and they're going to trade within this range, and it's going to be very aggressive. It's about a 100 pip move, and that's a big move, if not more, because I expect them to come down to this level to 1269. Once I saw that, then I went to the 120 for more verification. The 120 gave me something that I was really looking for. More confirmation that they were going to throw the kitchen sink at this trade. And they're using today as a good excuse because there isn't that much news during the European session, except for that one event. And sometimes they'll set up these trades to do that specifically. So give it a second. You can see here they formed these two pivots, these two power dots right here. So we're expecting from the distance here to here, we're expecting them to come down. Now anticipate that they're going to come up at least to 114.19 one more time before dropping like a stone. And that's okay because I'm looking forward to that. But you have quite a few levels of confirmation here. So here we have the power dots on the 120. We also go down to the 90 minute and we'll see the same thing. And what's interesting about this trade is that they have layers and layers of power dot confirmation, price levels that are established telling you they are not going to break to the upside. I call this not a triple hitter, but literally a four play hit, and that's considered a home run. Why they're doing it, cannot tell you. I do not question their decision process. I just follow it. Here, for instance, on the 90 minute, again, you can see they formed power dots at 114.30. So on the 120, you have them at 114.52. On the 90, you have them at 14.30. And we're going to go down to the 60 minute very quickly. And you're going to see that it gets better and better and better. So this is one of those trades where, you know, whenever you're looking at the higher time frame and you see the power dots form and the way that they're forming here and now, you don't question the trade. You don't question the direction. You wait for them to get to that price level because they're going to bounce right off of it. And when they do, like in this case, you know, we like to follow Newton's law. They're going to fall like a stone, and we're going to allow them to. Here, for instance, on the 60 minute, we don't have anything, but when we go down to the 30 minute, we do. So we have basically 3 layers of power dots, 3 resistance levels of the highest order, basically telling you they are not, and I repeat, they are not interested in taking this long any further. Now granted, you know, the Fed minutes today sort of threw everyone under the bus, but I think they set up the trade in order to change and shift directions, which is a good thing for us. Bad thing in the morning because I got hurt, but that's okay. One mistake over another. Here on the 30 minute, nothing. Let's go to the 20 minute. Now, the 20 minute, I believe there was more power dots. And then finally to the 15 minute. But yeah, this is one of those trades where they're going to take their time, they're going to set it up, and then they're going to fall like a stone. Now remember, as we start up with a higher time frame and start to come down, it makes it even more interesting. Here, for instance, this was on the 30 minute. This price level was identified in the 30 minute, 114.24, which is where they're at. But I want to show you something even more interesting. Take a look at this on the 15 minute. That makes it 4 layers of resistance. Now remember, the one thing that our algorithm does is that it identifies when they're planning on rebalancing their order flow, when they're planning on rebalancing their long positions and getting out before taking it short, or vice versa. In this case, that's what we're looking at. But the fact that they set up 4 layers of resistance levels is just, and that there's one simultaneously, one right after another, that, see here, I knew they were going to come and touch it right at it. Because they did that, this gives me the confidence to actually do to them what they did to me this morning, which is take them for every pip that they can give. So let's go to the 10-minute, and you'll see that at the 10-minute, they even formed power dots there. Now, the nice thing about those price levels that have been identified is that we can use those as stop loss levels. So here, for instance, it's not going to go any higher, and nor do I care for it to go any higher. You'll forgive me if I place a trade. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations. But in this case, we're definitely going to short it. Now you can see here on the 10-minute, they formed another set of power dots right there. So I formed this line right here, right under it, at 14.24. Now, where would my stop loss be? It would not be here at 14.28, but it would certainly be here at 114.31. Why? Because this level was identified in a higher time frame. Look, another power dot. Oh my God. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. And now, of course, they're going to come down. So this entry, because it is so tight, it is just, you know, I consider this to be a really, really solid trade based on my analysis. But when we look at the volume, this is where it becomes interesting. And we can start looking at it from right here when the first power dot formed on the 10-minute. Now here, for instance, there wasn't a lot of volume, 45 million total, but let's analyze that. And normally what I recommend people is to actually put this down on a spreadsheet so you can look at it later. You have 23 million on the buy side, 23 million on the sell side. So they pretty much balanced off. Previous candle, 50 million on the buy, 17 million on the sell, 34 million net difference to the upside. And they didn't trade above this price level? Really? No, not today. So now you go to the next power dot. After the first one, 9.3 million on the buy, 18 million on the sell, and they pulled away from it drastically. Now, even though there was more negative selling in this particular bar, they pulled away aggressively from 14.24, 114.24. So this trade right here, because this power dot formed right here, right now, is, in my opinion, a good short trade. Now, granted, the first level will probably hit here, 113.91. And then after that, they'll come to this next level, 113.76. But realistically, they got to come all the way down to 113.35. And then some. Because of the move, of how aggressive this move was, I'm anticipating that they're going to go at least minimum 150 to 200 pips. Minimum 150. That's what I'm anticipating. But let's continue with the volume. Now, you see how this one pulled away very aggressively, and then, of course, it came down, and then it came up again. Since it formed here, I want to see this volume here on this specific candle, because this tells a story, and we want to see that story. Here, we had a total of 74 million, 40 million on the buy side, 34 million on the sell side. Difference of 6 million, not a big move. This next one here, but it had a pivot. Interesting enough, there was a pivot right under this price level. What do we say about those pivots? whenever there's a pivot right below price level and right below power dots, especially when there's two layers of them, that's it. They're pretty much done. Look for an entry because you're going to get it. Now here, for instance, in this candle, they spiked up and they did the final move. And this one had, and this is very interesting because it's not reflecting the total volume, but this one is. This one says 195.2 million, yet I'm only seeing 10 million on the buy and 8.7 million on the sell. Something's wrong. Something's not budging on that one. 74 million here. Yeah, interesting. That has to be a glitch with Ninja. Matters not. They had, if that is the case, that means that they had a tremendous amount of volume that they put into this, and they did not break above 114.24. Far from it. They're pulling away from it right now on the current candle, which has about 72 million, 24 million on the buy, 49 million on the sell, and they're pulling away drastically, such is the case that we're actually up by 1 pip. So I like this trade to the downside. I'm sticking to my guns on it. I feel very strongly about it. And I feel that it's definitely going to be a contender, and that we'll see surprises in the morning. Now, if we look at it from the higher time frame, and let's do that real quickly. For a quick analysis, you'll be able to see that what they've been doing, what they did was set this up, and they set it up very, very well. My God, you know, if ever there was a conspiracy, this is the day that they proved it. Can everyone hear me? Just to make sure. Yes, okay, excellent. So here, you know, they set this up on the 240 minute. They came right down to it, bounced up, and now, of course, they, you know, this level right here, where you see the solid line, is where basically you have the trend stops. So they went right at them, but not directly. So they went a slightly lower level. This was at 1428. The 30 minute is where they've been trading off of, which is 1424. So they changed their frequency of price so that people would not think that it was going to be a breakout. They know that if they trade above this price level, they're dead, because that will trigger algorithms of other banks, and it'll be a buying frenzy to the upside, which is what they don't want, because their whole intention is to drive this down. But you have the 120, you have the 90 minute, you have the congestion level, you have the 30 minute price level here, and then you have on top of that the 15 minute. I mean, you have so many layers of resistance, it's not even funny. And the volume doesn't reflect. But if we look at the volume here, and I'll make this picture bigger because I think it makes sense to do so. Let's look at the volume here on the 60 minute. This will give us another picture. And we'll start from here actually, because here's where the first power dot formed. And this one, 181 million. So you had 94 million on the buy side, 87 million on the sell side. You know, slightly bullish, but not a big move. Next candle. 301 million in this candle on the 1 hour. 192 million on the buy, 109 on the sell. Difference of 84, and they moved. They didn't move directly to it, but they moved close enough. Next candle. 247 million on the buy, 139 million on the sell. Here is where they show their desperation to get out of their long positions. However, there's more demand on the buying side to break through this price level. The sellers are in control, and they say, no, I'm only going to give up 139 million. There's no way I'm offloading the rest of the buy orders. Then this candle comes in, of course. Volume just drops severely. 190. This is a 97 million on the buy, 90 million on the sell. They pretty much balanced out the orders. This one's a great one because there's a pivot right there. 126 million on the buy, 187 million on the sell. So they were really desperate to get out of these positions, but there weren't enough buyers to offset the difference of 60 million. Why? Because the buyers wanted to buy above this price level. Not here, but the sellers didn't want to sell above this price level, so they pulled back. And that's why you see price action basically drive this candle back. This next candle, 154 million on the buy, 123 million on the sell. You're talking about 31 million, and they don't break above this price level. Does not make mathematical sense why they wouldn't. This one, of course, 86 million on the buy, 133 million on the sell. Because they pulled away from it, the buyers were least interested, and that's why they pulled away. That's why we see there's a difference of 46 million in orders that did not get filled. And now, of course, currently we have 19 million on the buy, 21 million on the sell, 23 million on the sell, and they're still pulling away. We're actually up 4 pips. So being that said and done, I think we want to call this one a rider and just ride the wave. Let's go down to the 15-minute. And then we'll go check out another one. Now, the 240-minute, which is a 4-hour, if you're able to identify some of these trades on the 4-hour, then realistically you've hit a gold mine. And I say that because rarely do they set up, but when they do set up, those trades are just extremely long. But when you're in the right direction, extremely rewarding. So you see here, we're already up 6 pips. We got in at the very top practically. At 114.20 is where our entry was. It's at 114.12 right now, 114.13. I'm expecting this to come all the way down here to 13. So if we measure that from top to bottom, and I knew that they were going to do it, but they weren't going to do it right after the announcement. That's 98 pips. However, I'm anticipating that they're going to come down even further. And that's why I want to go to the 60-minute to show you how further they're going to come down. Because they're not just going to come down 100 pips. Oh no. They're going to really, really hit whoever is still long right now very, very aggressively. And like I said, this could become a 150 to a 200 pip trade. It has all the ingredients for that. Feel like if we're cooking. And it's late. I've already had my dinner. And it's late. Yeah, no, I'm anticipating them they're coming down to 112.87. And if I'm right, that means that from our entry, they're going to come and hit this level, which is about 141 pips. Hopefully I'm wrong and they just give us 98 pips. You know, you can't go wrong with that. But at least we know that we're in the right direction. That's what matters. Nothing more and nothing less. So now let's take a look at another one that came up. And this one sort of caught my eye because it caught my eye. But we'll go first to, we'll take a look at this one actually. This one is the Aussie yen. Now I know that some of you may have some questions, on what, when, where, and why. All I can tell you is put them down in an email them to me, and you'll be just fine. I promise I will get back to you. So I'm going to put down my email for you guys to get a hold of me, and that is Ricardo at phoenixtradingstrategies.com. My Skype, some of you may know, but just in case, Ricardo at PFG. Okay, this one's interesting because I want to know why it came out in the 240, actually. the Skype. Give it a minute. Oh my God, what did they do? What did they do? I think I need to add more data. No, I have data. What in the... Let's try and pull this back. Ah, there it is. There it is. Oh, okay, so it's... no, I'm not that keen on... They're trading right off of this level, actually. That's why it announced it. You see, right here, we'll draw the line. And they're going short. And we'll put red. So, because they traded below this level, and this level was 92.82, they're currently trading at 92.46. That's a pretty aggressive drop. I'd like to say I'm a little late on that. I don't like to be late. Anticipated going down to 91.77. So practically about 100, almost 100 pips, 80 pips. But I don't like to be late in the game. Let's continue and take a look at this, go down to the smaller time frames. Indeed, indeed. What webs we weave. They must know something that we don't today. Now, on the 120 minute, you can see that they're also trading below this level. They just broke below this one, which wasn't really a support level, but the fact that they broke below it is significant. Now, in this level, here we're finding two things, and we're going to draw a line on this one because I don't want to draw a ray, but I will draw a line. We'll draw it from here to here. And we will do red again. Actually, we'll do orange-red on this one. Oh, no. Okay, no, it's solid. That's fine. So as soon as they traded below it, they came down pretty aggressively. Now, they're trading right here, which is where this previous trend stop is. Now, every time that they break below this trend stop, they come down like a stone to 91.57. So that means that this thing has the potential to drop a total of about 100 pips. That's a pretty aggressive move. Now, it's already started. Granted, where it's currently trading, I could put a stop loss right above 92.69 and actually feel very comfortable with it. But it's, how can I say this? It's like a 50-50 right now. But let's continue. Let's continue to go down, and we'll see if it actually makes sense to get into that trade. I like the euro more than I do this one because the euro had every ingredient that I was looking for. This one, on the other hand, I have mixed feelings about it. It's like if you're late to the party. I don't like leftovers. And that's just me, of course. Yeah, see here on the 90-minute, they formed the cell. They came at it, pulled away from it, and then this one, of course, definitely pulled away. And it's just holding right there. Let's go down to the 60-minute. And give it a minute for a chart to come out. Now, why don't I like this trade? What's the difference between this trade and the other one? That we had power dots and levels after levels after levels in the Euro trade. We don't have that here, not even close. And because we don't have that here, I'm not interested. My comfort level is not there. I'm actually very hesitant of it. And if I don't see confirmation after a third or fourth time frame, I'm pretty much out. So let's go to the next one. We have here, I saw the Euro Aussie, so we'll hit the Euro Aussie first, and then we'll take a look at the Aussie dollar. Sometimes it makes a little bit more sense to go for the trade that gives you layers and layers of confidence versus one that is just not confirming. And that is an issue sometimes. Give it a second. And then we'll go to the 240 minute. Any questions so far? Okay. Euro Aussie, let's go to the 240 and see why we should or should not have a smile on our face for that specific trade. Wednesdays are always very strange days. Wednesday nights or Thursday mornings, however you want to call it, are always very strange days because they're usually, some people call them midweek reversals. They're right to a certain degree. The only thing is that I guess we look at trading differently because we're looking for mathematical proof of that. And yeah, right here, look at that. What a bad boy on the 4 hour. So here what we're going to do is that we're going to draw a line from here to here because we want a nice description of that one. And we're going to put a nice dark green color right there to remind us of all the goodies. Now, it's at this level right now, which is breaking out of congestion, and that's okay. We'll take that. And we will leave that as a solid line. And now we can go down to the smaller time frames. Now granted, if this does make that move, the next level is 147.90 and then 148.57, and it's at 146.55 right now. So let's go down to the 120. We're looking for 2 to 3 time frames that confirm those price levels are in play. Now normally, when you have these type of trades on the higher time frame, a 4 hour, these are usually a day and a half to 2 day trades. It's more of a swing trade, but very rewarding. Yeah, see, they're trading right above that. The move from here, 145.72, 146.48. Wow, that's a really big move they did. We missed the original move on this one, but let's see from here to here, 74 pips. That hurts. That hurts a lot because I don't feel comfortable leaving a trade with a 74 pip stop loss. That sort of takes my wind away. Let's continue to go down to the smaller time frame though. And we shall go from here to the 90 minute. They started off during the Asian session on that trade. But they're at a level right now which just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. ECB shows caution with cash to Greek banks. Interesting. See, what we call that is we call that a Greek tragedy. Now here we have something of interest. We have a pivot on the 90-minute. I can live with that power dot right there. That means that they're going to pull away from this and come down. So it's similar to the Euro trade, and we're right at that peak. And it's lining up with this level. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. So it's not going to go long. And we don't care to allow it to go long. We care to give them something to remember us by. And so here we go to the red. So we're actually going to be able to hit this trade before everyone else hits it. Oh, joy. And we have it right there. What a beauty. So they hit that level, and they're going to have to pull away from it. And when they pull away from it, we will be there. Now again, it's a 74 pip trade, maybe 80 pip trade to the downside from what we're seeing. The 90-minute is always good to look at because it does help. So we're almost there, boys and girls. Almost. See here, this is where your stop loss will be. Right here, 146.76. They may attempt to come up to it, so I'm actually willing to give them that opportunity, and we'll draw a line here to remind us of that. But it won't be a very big one. So if they do attempt, it's at 146, and they could be doing, what we call a big Ben trade, where the London Open, they spike and then they come down, and I'm fine with that. It's 146.61. We're only talking about 16 pip difference. I can live with that. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations. But it looks like they're going to pull away from it, from this price level to the downside, and your stop loss should be here at 146.76. If I'm right, we should anticipate this trade coming from here all the way back here, and then some. And then some means from, here, 144.22, because again, it's a trade on the 4-hour. So if we go from here to here, that's 235 pips. I can live with that. Even if it only gave 200 pips, I can live with that. So, and we're only down a pip, if that. No, we're at break even on that right now. Let's go down to the 30-minute on this, and then we'll go to the 15-minute. And we'll call it even on that one. Give it a minute. When NinjaTrader comes up with a new build, it'll be faster. They've promised. But I have to give it to them, quite honestly. If it wasn't because of their backbone, I would not be able to run these algorithms that we've designed. Now, again, here, we have it here, we have it here. I will feel very comfortable when they break below 146.24. When they come below that, I will feel very, very comfortable, because then I know that they're going to drop like a stone. And it's not too far from our entry. We got in at 146.54, so it's about 30 pips. The minute it drops 30 pips, they're sort of on the hatchet block, and they will be made mincemeat of each other. So what we could do is let's take a look at the volume. It's always interesting to see how they play their play. Now, granted, right here, this is I like this candle. Looking at this candle, because when we go to the next one, it'll mean a difference. There was 213 million total volume in this one. 109 million long, 105 million short. Difference of 4 million. Now, quite a bit, but you see they've always closed below this price level where our entry is. The previous candle, 313 million against 314 million on the sell side. A lot of volume, a tremendous amount. They came close, but no cigar. Didn't even want to touch it. This one has a pivot, of course, and this one is at 233 on the buy side, 264 on the sell, and they pulled away from it drastically. Then they came up one more time. This one currently has 258 million on the buy side, 239 million on the sell. They closed below it, and this one has one more attempt. I think that it will come up one more time and then come right back. If it does not, if the next two candles here do not close or settle above this price level, then they're going to come down. Currently, the volume right now is 21 million on the buy, 28 million on the sell. So they are looking to rebalance their order flow here and making this a high frequency candle. However, we'll see how much they offset. That will be the difference, and where they offset that at. So it'll be very interesting to see. Let's go to the 15-minute. Actually, no, I want to go to the 20-minute. The 20-minute usually gives me a little bit more insight. Now, don't expect some of these trades to immediately play out. They may take 2-3 hours before they do, because they're more swing trades. But when they get going, they're going to get going pretty aggressively. Yeah, they made that move right to it. I sort of had a hunch that they were going to try and hit this level before coming down. So we'll see how aggressive they are at that. $116 and nothing. This one shows it here. I don't think they'll come up to 146.90. Very unlikely. 146.77 is where I think they'll max out and then pull right back under. So I'm comfortable with this one. Let's go to the 15-minute. See if we have any surprises there. almost there. Oh, they're going to hit that level, aren't they? Let's see if they break it. My tolerance is very short. I only give away 20 pips. That's it. I don't like to give away more than that. Let's see how they play it from here. Because if they don't break above it and pull pretty aggressively from that level, then I know that we're correct. They got 1 minute before this candle closes. Let's see, what are you going to do? Pretty long minute, isn't it? Okay. This is where it's going to get interesting now. Who is in play right now? Pound dollar. We'll take a look at that soon. So let's see how they balance off these orders right here. Actually, this is where it becomes interesting because I'm very curious to see what the volume is here. Was not that aggressive. Oh, look at how, let's see. This one, 24 million long, 17 million short. So they did not, there was more demand to buy, but the sellers held off. And if this one pulls back, which is what I think it's going to do, based on what it's doing right now, if it trades inside this previous bar and not outside, then I know we're good. Let's see how it plays out. Always interesting to see when they reach certain price levels, how they trade around them. And then we have one more that I want to take a look at. No, and it's not the US yen. It is the Aussie dollar, though. Let's see how it holds. Well, we'll let it hold there. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. We'll come back to this one. And this will be the last one of them all on the higher time frames. Now remember, usually there's 3 to 4 pairs that they manipulate pretty aggressively. Let's go to the 240 minute on this one and see what type of game they're playing. Give it a minute. And, oh my God. Okay. Oh, okay. Here it is. So they pulled away from it pretty aggressively, actually. But again, you know, I'm not seeing what I want to see. So we'll draw the line here just because. Red. Okay, this price right here is 78.11 and it's currently trading at 77.87. Not too far off on the Aussie dollar, and you can see how they pulled right back under it pretty aggressively. So we go down and see what they're doing here. The 120 will give us a better picture. Okay. Ooh. Power dot right under it. Actually, no, transition. It's transitioned very well. But they have this level in the 120, which is at 77.67. Not too far from it. And then 77.57 right under that. So I'm not that keen on this one, because again, it's just not. We just didn't see the power dots form here. I would have been more content if they would have formed up here or even here, but when they don't, it just doesn't seem to be the trade that I'm interested in, especially when it's a swing trade. I have to have certain components that make sense. And if it doesn't have it, then you don't have a trade. And usually they're very repetitive in the smaller time frames. Here on the 90-minute they did, but then on the higher time frame they had it here, and they were bouncing off of it. So I'm not that keen on this one yet, but we'll draw a line. And let's go down to the 60-minute. Think about if I would have been able to catch that trade earlier on this afternoon, I would have been a little bit more content. But the fact that we're late and that it already started and that they haven't continued any further does not give me a lot of confidence in that trade. Let's give it a second. And there, see? That's why right here on the 60-minute they're going to bounce from it. And that does not give me a lot of confidence that it's going to go down. Because it's conflicting, I don't feel comfortable with this trade at all. Let's see if we're missing a level. No, why'd you do that? Right, see, right here. It did it again. It repeated it again. even though this was in the 90-minute. But here you have, it repeats it twice. And it's at a pretty solid support level. So I don't feel comfortable with this trade going short at all. Even though, and this is not really a resistance level, because if it was, it would have formed up here. They broke right through it, came down from it, and now it's just, I'm not convinced of this one. This one just doesn't have the component that I'm looking for. I would actually wait. I'm more of a spectator here at 77, 78 to see what it does within the next 2 hours. But right now, I'm not interested. I would draw a line to identify this level, of course, because it makes sense to see why this level came out and how they rebalance their order flow. But nothing more, nothing less than that at this point. Let's go down to the smaller time frames and see what they're plotting. Almost there. Give it a minute. Yeah, see, you could tell how they've used this level pretty aggressively as a support level. And it appears here, this was the previous level as a resistance level, so this would be the stop loss, which is 77.74. It's at 77.80. So I actually want to go down even further to see what they're doing on the 20-minute. But I'm not that keen on this trade. Sometimes you just don't have a trade. And in this case, I won't force it. Give it a second. And what do we have here? Nothing. They broke through it. Let's see if they hold. And remember, 77.74 was the stop loss previously, or this one, 77.70. So if it pulls right back above it, then I'm interested long. But I'm not interested short anymore because it's already fulfilled the trade to the downside. Very strong support and resistance levels right here. Very strong. Now the fact that they're trading below it means that they could come down to this level, 1 to 77.56, which is only 25 pips away. And it's too much risk to be getting in on that trade, I'm afraid. It's not worth it. What? Let's go to the 15-minute, and we'll conclude with this one, and then move on. not do that. It broke through this level. This level is right here where they're holding. Yeah, this is it. This is the price level where they transition. If they do not trade below this any further and bounce and close above this level, I'm long. If not, I'm holding. I'm waiting. And they have 1 minute. And look at that. Right before the minute, they're going to close right above that price level. Conniving little. It's like if they've timed it. And that would be it. 1 minute left. It's like they went right to 0.7774, which is what we had identified in the higher time frame. Let's see what they do with this next candle. The fact that they closed right above the price level is what's killing me. But in this trade, I think that I'm pretty correct. And I'm going to take it long. Now your stop loss should be, you could do it, you could set it here at 0.7771. I don't think they're going to hit it, quite honestly. And if this next candle right here closes above 77.77, then they proved exactly what I said, that they weren't going to go any further, and they were going to bounce. And if they bounce, they're definitely going to come right back up here. That would make this trade yield from here to here 57 pips. So let's see. And that means, let's take a look, we'll come back to this one, but let's take a look at the Euro Aussie, because I'm sure they went pretty aggressive against me on that one. And then we'll take a look at the Euro Dollar. Oh, Ninja. Yeah, they did. They went pretty aggressive against me on this one. But they're going to have to pull back and come right back down. That had to have been your Big Ben play. I'm curious to see the Euro Dollar real quickly. This one, I have a feeling will come back down, but we'll come back to it. Let's see how this one is unfolding. Give it a minute. Oh, look, they came right to the 120 minute, and they pulled right back. So I wasn't wrong around about the levels. If this one comes right back down below this one, then at that point I know that we're good. Because the same thing that happens on this trade will reflect on the Euro Aussie as well. Let's see. There it is. Come on. Come right back down. Come on. Give it a second. Where are we at? 12:35 on my clock. So we still have another 10 minutes for this thing to play. But I need it to come below or at this level, 114.32. So if it comes down another 4 pips from where it's currently trading, then at that point I'll feel much more comfortable, because I know they'll start to sell aggressively. You always have to give yourself a good 20-25 pips a difference, because sometimes during the European session they tend to hit the stops more aggressively than during the Asian session. During the Asian session they don't do that, and I've noticed that, but during the European session they definitely like to play that. So let's see what they do. I still can't believe they came up very close to 114.51, which was the price level on the 120 minute, and then pulled from it. Let's see how you're going to play this. This ain't over yet. What type of volume are they running here is what I'm curious. This was pretty aggressive here, actually. No, but there was less volume sold here, and they still decided to sell above these price levels. That's interesting. And then this one was 146 against 97. This is the one that did it. And then this current one right here is about evenly matched. 77 on the buy, 75 million on the sell. Really a difference of 1 million right now. 78 million, evenly distributed, the volume within that candle. They're selling more. If they pull back, if they sell more and they pull back, that's when I know that they'll change. Let's see, there's a weekly upper level you marked above this level. What's the price that you see on it at exact? Because I have 114.51 on this. That's the level itself. So they're bouncing right off of the weekly level. Oh, okay, so then I'm not wrong. So they'll play around this trade and trade around this price level then. Exactly, plus the end of the week. It matches up. Thank you. And I'm expecting this trade to come all the way down below 113.21 because that's what it looks like it's going to do. So they went to the weekly high on this thing and bounced right off of it. I was thinking they were not going to trade above 114.28. Let's see how aggressive they come to this level. Okay, you're pulling away from it. Why? The volume is just intense on this thing. Practically evenly matched. 111 on the buy, 106 on the sell. So they're rebalancing their trades very aggressively right now. 112 on the buy, 109 on the sell. Still have 4 more minutes. Yeah, if you pull back down. Yeah. Yeah, we all think alike, but market says, okay, I will show you. Very, very true. Okay, the fact that they're pulling back and their volume is very aggressive here is telling me a lot. That means that the sellers don't want to sell any higher than that, but I need to see it reflect by price action actually closing below where it opened. I need to see a bearish candle here instead of a spinning top. And not because I care much for what the candle looks like, but I care much for what the volume looks like. And that will make the difference. Come on, calm down. Look at that. I mean, the volume that they're trading, this is just incredible. 145 on the buy, 137 on the sell. So they're selling less at this price level. The buyers are demanding to purchase more and drive price up, but the sellers aren't budging. 139 million at 114.40, 142 million, and it's not moving up. 148 million on the buy, 145 million on the sell, 150 on the buy, 151. Man, can you see the emotion of them trying to control this? 146 on the sell, but the sellers are in control because they're the ones that hold the currency. They decide if they wish to devaluate their position more or not. $160 and nothing. Okay, here's where they start to make a little bit of a move. 156 on the sell against 165, 160, 167 on the buy, 160 on the sell, 172 on the buy, and it's just getting more aggressive. And the sellers aren't budging any higher. Okay, so it closed. Let's see what this next candle does. Yeah, that's what I need to see. I need you to pull back. Let's see what your volume is, how aggressive your volume is here. 10 million on the buy, 13 million on the sell, 11 million, 12 million on the buy, 13 million on the sell. And it's starting to pull back. Let's see how far they pull back. That will be the defining factor for us. 16 million on the sell, 13 million on the buy. They're buying less, and they're offering more. 17 million, but we still need to see price action. 18 million on the sell, 19 million on the sell. 22 million, 23 million, 24 million on the sell side, 14 million on the buy, 26 million on the sell side. If they come right back down below, okay, here it is. All right. Come on down. 29 million on the sell, 16 million on the buy. This is what's going to define the other trades that we have on. 29 million on the sell against 19 million on the buy. And it's closing right below 1437. I needed to close below 1434. And then I know they're dead. So if we see an aggressive move to the downside, then I know that this trade will come right back down where I expected it to, and they just hit the weekly high before rebalancing. Come on, keep going down. Just another 3 pips. Then I know you're good. 30 million on the buy, 32 million on the sell, pretty much evenly matched, but the fact that they pulled away from the previous close of 114.43 says a lot. Let's see if it pulls any further. Pretty much the volume's evenly distributed right now. 35 million on the buy, no, 37 million on the buy, 38 million on the sell, 39 million on the buy, 40 million, 41 million, but still, it's still holding at 114.37, and we needed to close below that for it to come back into play. But here's the thing, that this one is trading now outside of the previous bar. There it is. Here it comes. Ah, beautiful. That's what I needed to see. Calm down, you parasite. I knew you were going to give it up. It was just a matter of time. 114.34. Come on, trade below it. Give it up. You know you want to. See, now this candle is trading outside of this candle. It's still trading inside of this one, but that's okay, because it's a bearish candle with very bearish volume. 52 million on the buy, 60 million on the sell. And man, are they going to fight for it, because they know that if they close below 114.34, they are in deep trouble. Come on, 114.33, bring it to 114.32. And then we know that you're going to be a good little boy. They played a Big Ben trade on us. I can't believe it. Big Ben means that they usually hit the stops when they know that they're going to go the opposite direction. So in this case, they went long, tried to stop everyone out, and then went short. Come on down. Oh yes, that's what we need to see. But we need you to come down a little bit more aggressive. We need you to come below 114.34. 5 more minutes on this candle. They just might do it. The volume's just really kicking in. You got 66 million on the buy, 78 million on the sell, 79 million on the sell side, 80 million on the sell side, 81. Boy, they're really pulling back. They're offering and the buyers aren't buying because they don't want to buy at this price level. That's where the psychology of this trade is very important. I know it made a move to the upside, but it's got to come down to, they can't hold that level because it's going to reflect the same thing that this one is, pretty much. Let's see. Because if this comes right back down, then this is going to be a very nice swing trade, and it could last for 2 days. But they're going to make us really think about this one, aren't they? Let's see, let's see. Where are you with the volume? Wow, 97 million on the sell side, 98 million. 75 million on the buy, 99 million on the sell side. They really want to dump right here. 100 million. Whoa. A difference of 25 million, but they got to break below 114.34, and that's where they're struggling right now. 101 million, and it may be on the next candle. We still have 8 minutes left on this thing. But if in that time frame it closes or goes to 114.30, then we're good. So the more volume they inject into this right here, the better. Come on, keep going. Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness, here we go. Come on. Keep going. And here it comes. Come on. Almost there. Ooh, they're really stubborn. 86 million on the buy, 88 million, 89 million on the buy, 116 million on the sell. So the sellers are really, really trying to get out of those long positions. The buyers aren't buying at this price level because they're bidding higher, and the sellers aren't selling at a higher price. They're offering at a lower price, which goes against the initiative of the buyers. 118 million on the sell, 95 million on the buy, 120 million on the sell. Wow. Okay, 114.33. We still have 6 minutes before this candle closes. But the fact that they have driven so much volume into this candle is very significant. Especially if they match up with this previous candle and price action defines this more aggressively. It's trading at 114.32. Come on down. Just another 3 pips. So that when you close, then you really come down like a stone. Oh, there it is. 114.31. Come on. Come on. Keep selling. Keep selling. 99 million on the buy side, 133 million on the sell side. Oh my God. Are they ever in the fight for this one? Come on, keep selling. You're almost there. $101 on the buy, 130. No, 103 on the buy, 138 on the sell, 140 on the sell side, 105 on the buy side, 107 on the buy side, and they cannot. So that means that the buyers are going to buy what they can here at this price level because they know that they're not going to get it any higher before it goes down any further, and that's a beautiful thing because that means that they have to fall like a stone. 114 on the buy, 140 on the sell. Come on, keep driving price down. You're at 114.31 right now. You need to trade below 114.30, and we're all going to be very happy with your decision. $115 on the buy, 145 on the sell, and man, are they rebalancing here at 114.31. Oh my. Come on, come on. Keep going. 151 on the sell side, 115 on the buy. A difference of 154 on the sell side, 155 and more. Come on, come on. Break below it. Come on. 114.29. Keep going, keep going. 3 more minutes. Come on. Break below 114.28. And put a smile on all our faces right now. The fact that it's trading below 114.31 is a good thing because it's this previous level, 114.32 actually. So the next candle should come down more aggressively. This one only has 3 more minutes. But if it closes below this level, which was the trend stop on the 240 minute, then we know they're coming right back down like a stone. Come on, keep going. Well, we'll let them play it out. Let's take a look at what the Euro Aussie is doing since I'm short on that one. That one should retrace as well. And then we'll take a look at the Aussie dollar. give the charts a minute. Come on. Yeah, this one's going to pull down. They can't hold this level any further. They did the same thing. Let's see the volume real quickly on this thing. Here they balanced out. Let's see. 270 on the buy, 216 on the sell. Previous one was 214 on the buy, 200 on the sell, and this one currently is at 16 million, 17 and 2.5 on the sell. And they're not really doing much. See, it's interesting because I need to see what the Aussie dollar is doing on this one. Because on the Aussie, we're long. Yeah, I know. That one's over. Let's see this one. Oh, they came right below it. Not too much, though. Again, it's dollar strength here, only 13 pips, but it came down to the level that I said I would not give up any further. So this one's actually going to go down. And sometimes 15 pips is not a lot, but I won't give up more than that on this one. And I won't take it down further. I'll write that one off. But the Euro USD is the one that'll make it up for me. That one should recover my loss on the Euro Aussie and Aussie dollar. Let's see. Take a look at it real quickly. Yeah, it did. It went above me very aggressively. This one is still holding, but we have a pivot right here below this. That's good. So we'll see how this one plays out. They held right above 114.29. That's what I was afraid of. If they would have closed below that, then I would have been more comfortable with it. But the fact that they're coming back up and this formed a pivot, I want to see how this plays out. Because this is a weekly level as well. And if they didn't break above this previously, then that means that they're going to trade close to it and pull away from it aggressively. Because if they break it, then they have to really run. And I don't think that they have that incentive yet. So this next candle is going to make a difference for me. Because if it trades inside this bar, then I know that they're pretty much just rebalancing their orders and they're going to pull back. So we'll see how this one ends up playing. Let me see the volume on this one. That box. So this one they had 153 on the buy, 170 on the sell. And this one they are at 59 million on the buy, 60 million on the sell. This one will be very unique because if they see how they're pulling away from price up here and they're increasing their order flow, that's very significant. When you're seeing this on the live edge of the market, it makes a difference, because what will happen is that it'll define the movement to the downside even stronger. The fact that they formed a pivot here right below this is significant. Granted, they did the same thing here, and you can see how they pulled away, pulled to the downside. I wasn't that keen on this pivot here per se, but there's 3 layers here of price levels that they're trading within. And that to me is very important. But the fact that this is a weekly high and they haven't been able to penetrate it, and they're just trading around it, and that this one is increasing in volume but decreasing in price at the price that they're trading at, is significant, because this means that they are going to pull the trigger to the downside eventually, because this level is way too important to them. And I may have gotten in a little too prematurely, only because of the levels that I saw here and the distance that I saw between this level and this level. But, you know, if it's a swing trade, you have to have a little bit more tolerance. So this is where it's going to get very interesting to see how they play this trade, because the fact that it's pulling away from the upside is significant, unless it screams to the upside. And look at the volume here right now, 81 million on the buy, 94 million on the sell. That's a lot of volume. They went to 100 million very quickly on this thing, more so than the previous candles, and they're pulling back. And that's what I'm trying to see, is how they're playing this, because that price level up there, 114.50, is very significant to them from what we can tell. And the fact that they're increasing their volume and pulling away from it is very significant to me. So the more they increase their volume and the more they pull away from that price level, that tells me that they won't break it, and they'll continue to trade around it. Yes, also negative volume with a positive candle is never good, not for them at least. Because it does not add up. You don't have a bullish candle with negative volume. And in this case, it's getting very negative for them. So if this pulls the way I think it is, then that Euro-Aussie trade is going to come back in line as well. And we should be able to have 2 trades that play out for the night. Granted, it went against the Euro-Aussie went against us pretty aggressively, but I feel that this one will define the overall trade for us on that. And because it's more of a swing trade, and the fact that they're trading it off of a weekly level, that is very significant to me on the euro. They haven't done much on the volume here, have they? 115 on the buy, 121 on the sell, but they're still trading. They're pushing. $132 on the sell, 132 on the buy, even. But they're at 148, 149. increased on the purchase. On the buy, 144. Wow, they pulled back very aggressively. 137 on the sell. 151 on the sell. 152 on the sell side. 148 on the buy. Boy, are they having one outrageous fight right now for control. 152 on the buy, 153 on the buy, 155 on the sell. And let's see who drives the price. 159 on the buy, 157 on the sell, evenly distributed. 160 on the buy, 159 on the sell. Again, the amount of volume they've injected in this candle is huge. So wherever this candle settles is going to make a big difference. And if they pull away from 150, the way it looks like they've been doing, 170 on the sell, 163 on the buy, that's going to be very significant to us because that will make the difference in these trades. Boy, they're throwing the kitchen sink at this one. I mean, this 182 on the sell side. Wow, 166 on the buy. And are they rebalancing their order flow or what? 171 to 182 on the sell side. See, with all this volume, why haven't they broken above 114.52? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Because the amount of volume that they've shoved into this candle is just, number one, way and above what this one did. And look how they pulled back on this one. This one, they had 284 to 252, and they never went above it. And this one right now, currently, they have 170, 180 on the buy, 199, no, 201 on the sell side. And you see how they pulled away from 114.50? They came so close to it, and they pulled away from it. 192 on the buy, 193 on the buy, 201 on the sell, 194 on the buy. So they're bidding, but the sellers aren't selling. 205 on the sell, and they're pulling back. The more they pull back with negative volume, the better for us, because that means that this is the final shot. This is where they define it. 200 on the buy, 217 on the sell, and they're trading at 114.36 right now. If they trade below 114.34, they are done. 207 on the buy, 220 on the sell. Look at this. I mean, the amount of volume that they're throwing at this thing is just above and beyond what anyone could possibly imagine could take place within a candle. 213 on the buy, 222 on the sell. On the sell side, 224 on the sell side, 216 on the buy side. Boy, they're fighting for control. 217 on the buy, 218 on the buy, 219 on the buy, 221 on the buy, 224 on the sell, 222 on the buy, 223, 224 evenly distributed volume, and they're trading at 114.40, where they should be all the way up here. And look how they're pulling back. $114.37, 229 on the buy, 227 on the sell, 230 on the buy, 231, 232 on the buy, 233. They're bidding, and they're bidding aggressively. But the sellers aren't offering. It's still at 227, so there's a difference. 235 on the buy, 236 on the buy, 239 on the buy, 229 on the sell. You have 10 million, 9 million, 231 on the sell, 239 on the buy, and they are not driving above this price level. That is what gets to me. That with all this volume that they've injected, they should have driven price way above 114.51. $244 on the buy, 236 on the sell, 255 on the buy, 236, difference of 20 million in demand, and no, the sellers aren't budging. 257, 240 on the sell, 258, 259 on the buy. Just this candle alone made up all the volume that this one and this one, that this one did. And this one, this is a bigger candle. Almost 260 on the buy, 245 on the sell, 247 on the sell, no, 248 on the sell. And it's trading at 114.38. $114.37, $114.36, 252 on the sell, 259 on the buy, 253 on the sell, $264 on the buy, 253 on the sell, a difference of 12 million, nothing, and they're not budging, not moving it, not one pip fall from it, they're moving it back. Okay, that candle's over. Let's see what this next one does. The fact that this candle pulled back so back is not good. And this is not a bad thing, because we're starting to see volume actually start to come into the market very aggressively. So the need for them to rebalance their order flow is huge. And the volume's coming in 9.3 million on the buy, 10 million on the buy, 1.3 on the sell, 12 million on the buy, 13 million, 14 million. They're not selling anything. They're bidding, but no one is selling. 3.7 on the sell, 3.8, 4 million. Let's see what this candle does. 14 million on the buy, 6.3 million on the sell on this one. So this trade just may end up doing everything that we didn't get on the others. But I still have a feeling that that Euro Aussie will come down as well. Because if this is happening here, let's take a look at that Euro Aussie trade. I hate the fact that it went against us so much. That bugs me. But if it's a swing trade the way I think it's going to play, then it's going to end up coming down pretty aggressively. Give it a minute. Yeah, see, they have not been able to trade above that. They pulled away from it pretty aggressively. They went up, they came down, settled below this candle, and this one's going to do it for us. As it pulls below, it should bring back everything back online. So this one should repeat the same scenario that the euro dollar is playing for us. And it'll be one outrageous swing trade to the downside, make no mistake, but man, did it hurt going against us. Let's see the volume in this. I'm curious to see what type of volume they played here. See, look how aggressive this volume was in this candle. 231 on the buy, 246 on the sell. This one here was, let me see, 194 on the buy, 193 on the sell. Didn't really move a lot. This one was 270 on the buy, 216 on the sell. And this one is still trading inside this bar, but the volume isn't really, it's starting to come in. 21 million on the buy, 9.7 on the sell, difference of 12 million, 11 million. But I would expect with all the volume that this thing should have exploded to the upside even more. And it's not. If this candle trades within this range right here and holds or pulls back the way I think it is, the way the euro is doing, then they're pretty much done on the upside. And we should expect that one to come down as well aggressively. But again, it looks to be like a 2-day trade. Let's see. Come on, euro dollar. Come on. Oh my, look at that. Hardly done anything. Still trading at 114.37, 114.36. If it goes below 114.34, they're pretty much in trouble. Let's see the volume right now to see how it's playing. Not that aggressive. It's pretty low. 4.9, 6.5 on the buy, 7.7 on the sell. And it's trading at 114.35. That's significant. To me, that's very significant. That as the volume is increasing, they're still holding that price level. 13 million on the sell, 14 million on the sell, 15 million on the sell, 7.6 on the buy. So we have a difference of 7 million. 16 million on the sell, 11 million on the buy, 12 million. Here comes the volume. So this is where it gets interesting. $17 million on the sell, 18 million on the sell, 14 million on the buy. And they know that 114.34 is very significant because the minute they go below that, they have to come down. Let's see this one. It's holding 24 million on the sell, 19 million on the buy, and it's pulling down. It's trading at 114.33, which is what I expected it to do, and it still has plenty of time to evolve. 20 million on the buy, 31 on the sell. $114.34, and they're holding 36 million on the sell side, 23 million on the buy. 40 million on the sell. Nothing, no movement. Still at 114.35 now. 41 million on the sell side, 24 million on the buy. $41 million on the buy, 32 million on the sell, 35 million on the buy side, 41 million on the sell side. What amazes me is how fast they're accumulating volume at the very beginning of this candle. And that price is not moving. It's pretty much stagnant at 114.36, 114.34. $38 million on the buy, 41 million on the sell, 40 million on the buy. No movement of that candle at all. It's at 114.35, came down 1 pip. Pretty much volume is evenly distributed. 40 on the buy, 43 on the sell side, and nothing. These are truly high frequency candles. Let's see. 48 million on the buy, 45 million on the sell, and they're trading below 114.34. 114.35, 51 million on the buy, 46 million on the sell. See, with the amount of volume that's coming in, they should have driven price up, and they haven't. Now that tells you something. What that tells you is that the buyers have given up attempting to drive price up here and buy up here and bid up here. So they're bidding down here, and so they're pulling away even further from 114.50. $54 million on the buy, 49 million on the sell. That's not good. We need more negative volume in this. But we still have time, though. We still have 5 more minutes in this candle. Let's see. Come on. 54 million, 55 million on the sell side, 54 million on the buy side, and they're stuck at 114.35. Now it's at 114.34. 57 million on 58 million, so they came down to 114.33. That 114.34 price level is very significant to us, because if they break below it, then that's pretty much over for them on the upside. Now the fact that they have 114.31, what a drop. That's what I was looking for. 65 million on the sell side, 57 million on the buy, and that means that they're offsetting at lower price levels. And I would feel very comfortable about this trade to the downside at that point. Come on, come on, come on. 67 million on the sell side, 62 million on the buy, and they're trading at 114.33. 70 million on the sell side. Let's see. What are you guys going to do? Come on. You need to find this trade. $64 million on the buy, 73 million on the sell, instead of 114.35. Again, the fact that they won't trade above that and that they're pulling away from it is significant. But we need more price action driven into this, and the volume's being driven into it, but the price is not. That's where it's holding. It's trading between 114.36 and 114.34. Now they have 74 million on the buy, 82 million on the sell. But one thing's very important here, and I want to spend time explaining that we identified these levels on the higher time frame. The fact that they did not break above this level is very significant because it's on the 120 minute. Granted, this was on the 240. They did make their trade, but they stopped cold right here. And this is also a weekly high. So there were power dots on this level as well. And they're basically just bouncing off of it. And the fact that they bounced off of it so aggressively and they threw so much high frequency order flow around this is very significant, because if they would have broken above this, then they would have driven this even higher. But the fact that they did not trade above 114.50, 114.51 being the level, says a lot. Now that this candle's over, look at this. The volume is less. 85 million on the buy, 91 million on the sell. Nothing in comparison to this volume, which was huge. 313 million on the buy, 264 million on the sell. And it didn't not even come close to going up. So I feel very comfortable with this trade actually coming down. I don't have any, at this point, any degree of doubt or uncertainty, because they had plenty of time to break above this level and they didn't. And the fact that they came up to challenge it and that we identified this as one of those levels, granted, yes, it did go against us, 25, 26 pips, but right now it pulled back, and the fact that it's pulling back and aggressively pulling back, that's significant to me. Now it's trading at 114.30. I told you if it traded below 114.34, I'd feel very comfortable. The fact that it pulled away right now and it's trading at 114.30, 114.31 is good. If it goes below 114.28, which I think it will, and this was the trend stop on the 4-hour, then at that point I know for a fact that they're going to come down like a stone. And what's reflecting of this is also reflecting of the Euro-Aussie. That's why when I said that this trade would define that, granted, the Euro-Aussie went against us pretty aggressively, but the trade, if it plays out the way I believe it will, you're looking at 230 pips on that thing from our entry. So that means that would have made that trade, if it went against us over 50 pips, that thing would have been over a 300 pip trade. And see, look, it's not budging above. It is holding. And that means that it's got to come down. So as much as I hate being negative, and I do, but I feel comfortable with this trade actually pulling back, because again, they had as much opportunity as they had in the euro dollar to break above even higher, and they didn't. So I'm more comfortable with this. When this trade trades below 147.01, which I think it will, then at that point it'll come down like a stone. And then instead of thinking that it was such a negative trade, which it was, you'll say it's such a positive trade because it'll come down so fast, so low, that we'll be looking at over 200 pips on that trade. Now it did come out. There was another one that just came out, the Euro New Zealand, and that one just kicked in, and it's probably reflecting what this one's doing as well. So we'll take a look at it on the 240, and if it's reflecting what this one's reflecting, but even better, then we will be right about that trade. Let's take a look at that. and we'll finish. Okay, let's go to the 240. They did the same trade on this one. Okay, let's see this. No, I don't like this one. This being the 240 minute, I would have expected it. It's trading right there, 151.87. And they broke through this level. But in the past, it did serve as a support level. But then they broke through it and came down. So we'll draw a line on this one just for sake of looking at it and analyzing it. Okay, this one will be red and let's go down to the 120. Okay, here we have it on the 120. Came pretty much right at it and bounced right off of it. So let's draw a line on this one. Now let's go to the smaller time frame. Let's see what the 90 has to say. Wow. Same thing. Again, let's draw a line on this one. Let's see. Right at that level. And 60. That's two price levels. And this will be the last one. Let's see. Normally on a higher time frame trade, you're looking for confirmation on at least 3 time frames. Let's go to the 30-minute. Give it a moment. Okay, this is trading below. It's pulling back. Let's see the volume on this, actually. This one was 322 million on the buy, 269 on the sell. It went up, pulled back, not a good thing. This one's at barely starting right now, but it's trading below this level. So let's see on the smaller time frame, on the 15, what it looks like. Question. Good morning, Skip. You're a little bit late, buddy. Let's see how this comes out. Come on, come on, come on. Oh no, they're pulling away pretty aggressively on this one. This one's mimicking the same thing. But the volume here is a little higher. Let's see the volume. This one had 102 on the buy, 89 on the sell side. This one here had a lot more volume, and look how they came right back down. 220 on the buy, 181 on the sell, a difference of 41 million, and it was a bearish candle. And this one's coming down right now. This is a good entry right here. I like this entry on the short. Your stop loss could be up here, but I think that it's fair. A stop loss of 151.99, where right now it's currently trading at 151.83, and they're trading below this level, 151.89. I think will play out and should come down significantly from here to here, 110, but probably this one could be another 150 to 200 pip move, just like the Euro Aussie. Except we got into the Euro Aussie a little bit too early. Let's see how it's playing right now. Give it a minute. 1 minute. Yeah, see, it's not doing anything there. Let's see what the volume is like here. This one had 230 million on the buy, 247 on the sell. This one had 115 on the buy, 140 on the sell. Hardly nothing. This one, the volume's barely starting to kick in, but it's pulling down, and that's significant to us, and that's what I was looking for. You could actually take this entry short from this point. See, that's where I said if it goes below 147 even, then at that point I know that we're back into play on the short trade here. And this trade's going to play out to the short side. They pulled a big bet on us and hit us hard, but not in comparison to how we're going to hit them by holding this trade and going down. This thing's going to come down aggressively. We could see a 230 pip drop on this within the next 2 days. So as uncomfortable as that first move against us was, it's how it'll end up playing, which will make the difference for us. And let's see the euro dollar real quickly, euro USD. And that will define it for us, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the only pair that I won't trade anymore is the Swiss franc. So anything pegged against the Swiss, I don't care for it. They could move 150,000 pips and I still wouldn't trade it after what they did. I think everyone should boycott them to teach them a lesson. Oh, see, look at the euro. we're pretty much at break even after it being against us close to 30 pips. And now we can expect this thing to come down like a stone the way we were expecting it to play out. That's it. You got your 3 trades. I don't have much more to add unless you guys have any specific questions. And if there aren't any questions, then I wish you all a very good night, and I will see you Friday morning. Any questions? Yes, no? You're welcome, Albert. Actually, you know what? Let me see the volume on this thing because I'm curious to see how hard they got hit. This one had hardly nothing, 126 million, 120 on the buy, 122 million on the sell. This one was aggressive, but this one right now, it's barely at 29 million and 30 million. Come on, and they pulled back all this? That has to tell you a lot. Don't know what to ask? Don't worry, you'll know on Monday morning. But you'll certainly see it Friday morning because we should see this thing drop like a stone. I'm still bewildered about the Big Ben trade that they did because they spiked us really hard. That, my friend, is something that you're going to have to learn about. So I'm going to give you my email, and you can ask me away, and then I will tell you to go to see certain videos that we've done and read certain things in the website that will make it all work out for you. There's my email, Ricardo at phoenixtradingstrategies.com. That's all I have. Thank you all for joining. Okay, hold on. How do we get into the Friday morning? Oh, okay. Let me go to the website real quickly. Friday morning session, go to free trading room. Hit register now, and it's for Mondays and Fridays. And if you want to see videos, you can go to the blog. We have a few videos here. You can look at latest trades. You can look at trading videos, etc., etc. You can look at the indicators. And you're back on our home page. And again, hit the link, free trading room, register for Mondays and Fridays. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning. And we'll see you Friday morning. Thanks a lot. Thank you for coming to Phoenix Trading Strategies. Bye-bye now.